Hello, my name's Tamika, and you're listening to A Walk in the Park with Animal Friends.
So welcome back again, Sam. I want to quickly talk to you now about exercise and weight. So if we start with our dogs, how do I know if my dog is overweight? I'm assuming breed and potentially age factors into all of that.
Oh, definitely. It's a minefield trying to figure out the right weight for your animal. People ask, or you'll find online, kind of breed-related and age-related guides, and they are just that, they're guides. You cannot take them as gospel.
Yeah.
The best way to know if your pet is the right weight is actually not their weight. It's something called a body condition score.
Okay.
So if you're unsure about it, you can find some information online. Actually, Joii Vets and Nurses are great at supporting with this as well.
Amazing.
So we can do this online with you, or you can speak to your local vets and nurses and pop into the clinic. And really, it's about the shape of your pet. Where are they carrying their excess weight? Are they carrying any excess weight? Can we see their ribs easily? Can we feel along their spine? Do they have that natural tuck in their tummy, kind of at the back where we usually see it? Or are they carrying a little bit of kind of pooch around there, and we need to actually address that? So it's more than just weight. There are a number of factors. A really easy thing to look out for as an owner is, has my pet's weight changed? So if they're gaining a load of weight or they're losing a lot of weight since you last weighed them, that's an indicator that there's something we need to look at.
And you mentioned there at the start that it can be a minefield to try and figure out what an ideal weight is for a dog. Does that become even harder for a mixed breed?
Definitely. So
Okay.
I have a puppy at home. She is half Cocker Spaniel. Average weight would be maybe 15 kilos. She's half Labrador. Average weight, 30 kilos. Where is she going to land at the end of the day? I have no idea. So mixed breeds can be really difficult. And again, the best way is to use that body condition score.
Yeah.
How are they carrying weight across their body? And also then looking for changes. Obviously, puppies, they're going to gain weight as they get older. But once they hit that kind of maturity, around 12 to 18 months, we'd expect them to stay stable.
Okay, and then if you do have a dog that tends to be overweight, what is your best way to help them lose that and shift it? Is it good to just go straight in with more exercise? Do I change their diet overnight?
So, a bit like humans, there's no quick and easy way to deal with weight problems in animals. It is very much consistent, making sure that calories in are the right calories and they are less than the calories that are being burnt. So increased exercise and get on the right diet. Some people will choose, if they notice there is a weight issue with their pet's weight, to just cut the pet's diet, reduce the amount of food. That might not actually be the right thing to do, because it can induce a starve response in your pet. So they'll start actually storing more fat because suddenly they're not getting the food they used to.
It's interesting.
So get that exercise level up as much as you can.
Yeah.
Quite easy with dogs. Take them for a slightly longer walk, although it does mean that you yourself have to kind of put a little bit of extra time and effort in there, which I know we're not always all that keen on. And then getting on the right diet is key. So there are formulated weight loss diets on the market that make sure your pet gets the right amount of calories, but they are the right calories.
Okay, so then what health conditions can we see coming from an overweight dog?
Oh, so many health conditions. And actually, there's more and more science coming out that shows that being overweight for any length of time, even when your pet is quite young, has a massive impact on the chance of them having health conditions when they're older. So keeping your pet at the right weight will improve their health through their whole lifetime. And we can be talking about things as direct as a fat pet puts more pressure on their joints, so they're more likely to get arthritis. It can also be things that are a little less easy to understand. So an overweight pet has more chance of having brain issues as they get older. And actually things like canine dementia and kind of doggy dementia can be more prevalent in fatter pets.
That's quite scary, isn't it, when you think about it? So it's so important to keep that diet and keep that weight down to
one thing that is so, I think, overlooked in how important it is. If we keep our pet at the right weight, we can have massive impact on their quality of life.
That's insane. So then I imagine it becomes a little bit more difficult for overweight dogs when they need to be trained and they're food motivated. So I imagine a lot of treats out there in the market can be quite fatty and can add to our dogs' weights.
Yeah.
But is it true that you should only be giving your dog 10% of their daily kind of intake in treats?
Yeah, so that's the general rule of thumb. Obviously, it's not a perfect science. It'll depend on your diet, but around 10%, you're right, of their calories should be from treats. Now, have a look at the treats you've got on your shelf. They're very variable. Some will be the canine equivalent of a stick of celery. Some will be the equivalent of McDonald's. So you need to have a look at what's in there. And if you are questioning, or your pet is particularly on a kind of healthcare regime and you're trying to cut them down on their treats, then actually, if they're on dry food, that can be your treat. Weigh out your pet's portion of food for the day. Take 10% of that, put it aside, and don't feed it at meal times. Use it as your reward through the day.
Oh, that's a good tip. So then looking at cats, do we look at the scale for them as well to see if they're overweight, or is it the same as dogs where we look at kind of how their body is presenting?
Yeah, very much the same as dogs. So weight will give you a good indicator of any massive increases or decreases over time. And we know that most cats have a fairly standard range of weight that we expect them to be at. You know, a 1 kilo cat's going to be massively underweight. A 10 kilo cat's likely to be over. Usually somewhere in the kind of 3 to 6 range is what we look for, depending on a breed.
Yeah.
But the key really is that body condition score. So cats in the same way, we want to be able to feel their ribs without putting a lot of pressure on their chest. We want to be able to feel their spine. We want to see that tuck of the tummy. Although some cats do have kind of a little belly pouch. That's not related to weight. Well, it can be if they've lost a lot, but often it's related to their anatomy. It's the way their tummy can stretch when they're trying to pounce on prey. But it can be a bit of a red herring that we sometimes think is weight related. So yeah, if you have any questions at all, please do speak to a vet.
Perfect. And then indoor cats, do you find, Sam, that they tend to be a little bit more overweight than what outdoor cats can be?
They can be more prone, if we're not aware, that they can be more sedentary. They can do less activity at home unless you have a great owner who's very switched on and is making sure they're engaged. Or in fact, 2 cats that like to play together. Sometimes they can be some of the slimmest, best conditioned cats we've ever seen. But as a general rule, cats going out and about will be more active and therefore burn more calories. So it might just be that we need to be more aware of an indoor cat. If they do like to sleep a lot of the day, they maybe don't need feeding quite as much.
So if you do have an indoor specific cat that is overweight, Sam, how on earth do you get them to exercise? I'm assuming the weight loss advice is similar to dogs, where you reduce the diet, exercise more. How?
Indeed, it is a bit of a challenge sometimes, and not every cat will cooperate, but the best way to get an indoor cat active and increase that exercise is through play. So find what works for your cat. Is it chasing small catnip toys across the room? Is it kind of fishing rods and lures that you can get them to engage with you? Is it in giving them time with other cats in the house to play? So encouraging them through those kind of methods is the best thing you can do. And again, there are great formulated diets that support cats and are aimed at those that might be a little bit more lazy to help them healthily lose weight.
And are the health conditions the same for an overweight cat that you mentioned previously for an overweight dog?
So very similar, yes. Issues with arthritis can lead to heart conditions, can lead to more symptoms of kind of dementia and neurological problems as they get older. The other thing with cats that is a little bit more unique to them is it can actually lead to bladder issues as well. So their cats are very sensitive to any kind of medical or environmental stress, and they often show that outwardly by struggling to go to the toilet. They can, in really extreme cases, get things called blocked bladders, where they can't have any wheeze at all, and at that point we need to see a vet immediately. But often what you'll notice is they're going to the toilet little and often, doing lots of little wheeze, or missing the litter tray. So keep an eye out for any signs like that.
Okay, and then training cats as well. I know there are people out there who will train their cats. They'll use food or treats to do so as well. With dogs, I know, like you said, we can take some of their food aside and use that for training. Some people will use carrots and fruit and stuff for dogs. But what about cats? Because cats are carnivorous, aren't they? So can they have a little bit of carrot for a treat?
You can try. I'm yet to meet a cat that will be interested in a bit of carrot. Again, I'd advise if you are in that situation, your pet does need to lose weight, use a portion of their food.
Amazing.
If they're liking it and they're enjoying it and they are food motivated, they're going to go for it. Alternatively, try and get some nice, lean, high protein, low fat cat treats. If you have a look at a packet of any animal treat, in the same way that you look at a human food, it'll have that breakdown of protein, fat, carbs. So have a look at that and try and make sure your fat levels are low.
Great. Thank you so much, Sam.
No problem.
Thank you to all of our listeners. You can find out news about our podcast on our Instagram or TikTok handles, which is at Animal Friends Insurance, or on our Facebook page at Animal Friends Pet Insurance.